At AARP Missouri, we want to support you as you age. But first, you should learn a little more about us. AARP is a nonprofit organization working to help adults 50 plus in Missouri live their lives to the fullest. We advocate for over 700,000 members on important issues such as strengthening Social Security, protecting access to health care, and ensuring everyone has independence and choice as they age. AARP Missouri also offers online tools, resources, and programs you can access right from the comfort of your home. Learn how to protect yourself from fraud and scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Become an active part of AARP Missouri as a virtual volunteer. Find support while caring for a loved one through our caregiving resources. And enjoy a variety of fun virtual events that improve your health and wellness, like our exercise series, Moving It. At AARP Missouri, there's an entire community waiting for you. Learn more about us at aarp.org/mo.
Hello, everybody. My apologies. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties this morning. It's afternoon. One of the challenges that we're facing is that Kat, although we will be able to hear her and have her instruction today, she cannot hear me. So I will be doing some pointing and whatnot around. I would like to welcome you to our 6th Relax and Renew Yoga for All class. And I appreciate your patience with a little bit of technical difficulties today. This class is part of AARP Missouri's Moving It Fitness Series. And welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time, and welcome back to those of you who have been here before with previous sessions. The Relax and Renew Yoga for All classes will run through April 9th, and AARP Missouri is very pleased to bring you this live virtual event. Please do remember that while this class is suitable for many levels of fitness, you know your own limitations better than anyone, and please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. If you've got any concerns at all, check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. Here at AARP Missouri, we work to enhance the lives of all people 50 plus and their families. We have resources and information online at aarp.org/mo, and you can find out AARP information about activities and events wherever you are at aarp.org/near-you. Plus, you can learn about volunteering with AARP at aarp.org/volunteer. Our efforts to help people live their best lives include lots of things. Virtual options like this one for caregivers who may face challenges with in-person events. Resources for protecting yourself from frauds and scams through online information, local shred events, and we work on livable communities as well. And that goes beyond housing and transportation to include social participation that virtual events like this one offer. Now, before we get started, let me remind you to use the Q&A function to ask questions as needed, but keep in mind, we'll do a dedicated Q&A at the end of the yoga class. And that will be a little bit different this time, just because I'll read the Q&A and then I'll have to use the chat with Kat, so she will understand what questions you're asking. So that may take a second. So there may be a little time lag. But I'd like to introduce Kat to you now. She will be our instructor. Her name is Kat Robinson. And Kat has been a yoga teacher for over 20 years, has a long list of qualifications that many of you are already familiar with, but for new folks, Kat's a certified yoga therapist, integrative oncology yoga from MD Anderson Cancer Center. She's a graduate of the Yoga Teachers College, and much more. Kat's passionate about yoga and sees it not as a one-size-fits-all practice, but rather something that you can individualize and be adapted to each person. We are so pleased to have her with us today. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you, Diane. We're using a little bit of sign language here today to communicate. But also I want to say happy birthday today. Today's Diane's birthday. So we want to all make sure to say happy birthday to that. But welcome to Relax and Renew Yoga. And I am pleased to be here today. And today we're going to be doing some relaxation. We're going to be doing some standing poses. We're going to work on that balance a little bit more. So let's just start off by just taking a few moments to just relax the shoulders, and maybe just close the eyes for a few minutes. I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. As we said, we're having some technical difficulties, so I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit here, and you all just relax. There we go. That's a little bit better. And just let your shoulders drop. Allow your shoulders to open, your elbows to open, your wrists to open. Make sure that the knees are over the ankles and the hips are lined up with the knees. And just take a few moments just to connect with yourself, connect with your breathing. Remember, we want to inhale completely through the nose, bringing that breath down to our belly. So we feel that belly expand when we inhale. And when we exhale, we want to completely empty our lungs to rid our body of those toxins that we shouldn't hold on to. We have to keep in mind that our lungs are a filter, and they take in what we need and they release what we don't need, toxins that we don't need. So when we're not inhaling completely, we're not taking in the oxygen that we need. And when we don't exhale completely, we're not ridding our body of toxins. And if you need some help connecting with that breath, you could just bring your hands to your diaphragm and just connect. And then you bring, if you have your hands at your diaphragm, go ahead and bring them down at your side again. And go ahead and take a hold of the left side of the chair. And we're going to inhale, bring our right arm up. As you exhale, you're going to extend over to the left, pressing down on that right sit bone, making sure that it doesn't lift up on you. If it does, you'll lose that stretch. And we're just going to start warming up and expanding a little bit here. Taking a few breaths, just connect with the movement. And then we're going to inhale, come back up to center, and exhale, release your hand down. Holding on with the right hand, we're going to inhale, bring that left arm up. And as you exhale, you're going to extend over to the right. Now that left sit bone is going to want to lift. Again, keep it pressed down. You want to make sure that you are not interfering with your stretch. If it lifts, that just, you're just kind of moving now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we want to get that stretch. And then we're going to inhale, come back up to center, and exhale, release down. Go ahead and bring your hands onto your knees. We're going to bring that right arm straight up. As you exhale, you're going to bring it to the chair behind you, keeping your feet in alignment, keeping your knees in alignment, and take your gaze over that right shoulder. And just kind of hold on to that left knee, not really to torque yourself, but to give just a little bit of resistance here. Keep your breath moving. Don't forget, you don't want to hold your breath. And then on the next inhale, we're going to bring that right arm up, turn the palm forward, and bring it back down to our right knee. Other side. Inhaling the left arm up, turn that palm away. Bring the hand to the back of the chair. Take your gaze over the left shoulder. Keep the spine tall. Keep your breath moving. And this helps to just wring out tension around the spine. It's also our conduit for our nervous system, our spine is. So this helps to send out all of those signals to all of our organs and all the different body parts to make sure they're working correctly. On your next inhale, we're going to bring that left arm up. You're going to turn the palm forward, and you're going to bring that hand back down to your left knee. Go ahead and roll your shoulders a few times. Just release them out. In fact, let's go ahead and bring those arms out in line with your shoulders and just put a little bit of a wave into them, just to wiggle out any tension that may be bottled up in there. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring the right knee into our chest. Now you may want to move up to the front of your chair or a little closer to the front of your chair. And remember, you can always bring your hand behind your knee, or you could use that strap to bring under your knee to hold it up. It's really not that important that you have your hand over your knee. It's just what we want to do is we want to bring that knee in as close to our abdomen as we can. And just breathe into this. Make sure you keep that breath moving. You know, if you start struggling with that breathing, that's your signal to back out of the pose a little bit, or to, you know, maybe just not even do the pose at all. But you don't want to interfere with your breath. If you're going so far that your breathing is being stifled, you're going too far. Go ahead and exhale, release that knee down. You're going to scoot to the right side of your chair. You're going to bring that right foot back behind you, and we're going to stretch the top of the foot and the ankle in this chair version of runner's lunge. You can bring your hands up to the ceiling, lift through the chest. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our right hand to our left knee. We're going to bring our left hand straight back behind us. Keeping that breath moving. If you can look to your left thumb, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to come back to center. Go ahead and scoot back to the center of your chair. Come up to the front a little bit if you need to. We're going to bring that left knee up. Just tugging it in the best way you can. Doesn't matter how high you get your foot up or your knee up. That just doesn't matter. What matters is that you're moving, you're doing the pose, you're breathing. Range has nothing to do with this ever, ever. We are where we are when we're there. And just always remember, I've said this before and I'll probably say it over and over again, you're perfect where you are. Just always remember that. You're perfect where you are. Go ahead and exhale, release down. We're going to slide over to the left side of our chair. You're going to bring that left foot back, so you're kind of stretching the top of the ankle a little bit, and the top of the foot. And then we're going to sweep those arms up. Keep an eye on that front knee alignment, that right knee alignment. Make sure that the knee is still right over the ankle. And keep that breath moving. I say that over and over and over, and I'm glad you all appreciate it, because sometimes I feel like a broken record and you probably get tired of hearing me. But the breathing is so important when it comes to yoga. You're going to go ahead and you're going to bring that left hand down to your right knee. We're going to bring that right arm straight back behind us, coming into a little bit of a twist here. You can take your gaze to that thumb if you like. If you can't quite see the thumb, that's okay too. Just wherever it's going to work for you. And then we're going to come back to center. Go ahead and bring yourself back to the center of your chair. You're going to hold on to the side of your chair, or you can hold on to the back. You're going to slide up a little bit toward the front of the chair. And then we're just going to bring both knees up and release. Up and release. Hold that belly tight. Inhale up, exhale down. Try not to lean back in your chair. Try to keep your spine tall. Don't worry about how high you get your feet. Just kind of follow your breathing. When you inhale, lift the knees. And as you exhale, release the feet back down. Let's do 2 more here. Last one. And release down. We're going to go ahead and bring that right foot to the top of the left thigh. And let's go ahead. This is something that I do occasionally in class, just because our feet are our foundation. I want you to take your left hand. You've got your right foot here. You're going to take your left hand. And you're going to bring that pinky finger between the pinky toe and the second to the pinky toe, and just kind of lace your fingers through between your toes. If your toes are really tight, this may be a kind of a difficult thing for you. Do the best you can. And just stretch those toes out a little bit. You know, we put our feet into shoes constantly. Well, I don't. I have a job where I'm barefoot all the time, but most of us wear shoes a lot. And, you know, and they get cramped up. It cuts off our circulation in our feet. It squeezes them. It's not always a good thing. So this is a way to open up those toes and to get some blood flow in there. Now, if you would like, you can take an inhale here. And as you exhale, spread your fingers. And I'm sure you'll feel those toes kind of spread and widen. And then exhale, release, wiggle them a little bit, let some blood flow go in there. And then you're going to bring your left hand to your right foot, right hand to your right knee. We're going to take an inhale here. And as you exhale, fold like a piece of paper with a flat spine, bending at the hips, coming into a figure four fold here. You know, we call this a chair pigeon pose. It's a really good hip opener. We hold a lot of tension in our hips and lower back. And this is a really good way to open that up. And again, it's something you can do anywhere. If you're sitting a lot, you can do this, you know, in a hospital, you can do it in a doctor's office. If you have to sit for a long period of time, do some of these stretches. Your body will thank you for it. Go ahead and inhale, bringing yourself back up. And as you exhale, release that foot down. Go ahead and wiggle your ankle a little bit, point and flex, get that blood flowing in there. And then we're going to bring the left foot to the top of the right knee. And we're going to take those fingers and we're going to put them between our toes again. So the thumb is the only thing sticking out here. All the other fingers are between toes. And so just go ahead and kind of get that little stretch going on. And then if you feel comfortable with it, take an inhale. And as you exhale, spread your toes. Just kind of wake up your feet a little bit. I'm a barefoot person. I've always loved going barefoot. It's just me. And so I really think that's why I became a yoga teacher, was so I could do it barefoot, because I could work barefoot that way. But I'm just not really one. I wear flip-flops a lot. I wear sandals a lot. I don't like to have my feet covered. Go ahead and exhale, release, wiggle your toes a little bit. And then right hand is on the foot, left hand is on the knee. Take a nice big inhale here. And as you exhale, fold like a piece of paper coming forward. Don't worry about the range. Just feel that stretch. When you get to a point that you're feeling that stretch, just stop and breathe. And exhaling, releasing the pose and coming back up to set. Go ahead and stretch that leg out, wiggle that ankle a little bit, let some blood flow into that joint, and then we're going to come to stand. So we're going to work on our balance a little bit today. This is something that's came up quite a bit, and the question and answer is if we could work on balance more through our class. And since we're already working on our feet, let's balance and work our feet too. One of the things that's really good for building bone density are heel raises. So I want you to take the back of your chair and stand behind it. I'm turning to the side so you can see what's going on. Remember, we want to stack our bones, so make sure your feet are straight and your knees are over the ankles and your hips are over the knees and your shoulders are over the hips. And then we're just going to inhale, come up onto our toes, and exhale down. Now, if balance is an issue, separate your feet hip distance apart. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure they're straight. Okay, we're going to inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Up and down. Up 5, 6, keep the spine tall, keep breathing. 7, 8, 9, last one here, and release. So we're going to go from here by stepping back with our left foot. And then just stretch into this coming into a chair warrior 1. Now, if you're feeling really strong, you can bring both arms up. Or you've got the left leg back, hold on with your left hand, bring that right arm up. Or you can hold on with both hands. It doesn't really matter. What we're trying to do is stretch that left leg, square the hips forward, find that stretch, lift through the chest, wherever you're at. Just go ahead and just really sink into this. And then we're going to come back up. You're going to turn to the side where your right hand is on the back of your chair. And we're going to come into tree pose. So remember, tree pose is a balancing pose, and remember, balance does not come from the legs, it comes from the center of the body, the core muscles. So really engage those core muscles. Like somebody is tightening a corset around you. All those muscles that make the band around our abdominal area, squeeze them all in as tight as you can. Find a focal point, something that isn't moving, and stick with that focal point. Don't look around. We're going to bring the left foot to the right ankle. If this is working for you, stay here. You've got that right hand on the chair. You can bring your left hand to heart center. Coming into a half prayer pose. If you want to go deeper, go ahead and bring that left foot up to the inside of your calf. If that's working for you, stay there. If you want to go deeper, you can bring that left foot up to the inside of the thigh. Any one of these 3 places is an option. Another option is to bring both hands at heart center if you feel stable enough to do that. If not, hold on to your chair. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Keep your breath moving. And exhaling, releasing down. Very nice. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Okay, we're going to hold on to the back of that chair. We're going to go back into those heel raises. So we're going to have our feet even. They can be together. They can be as far as hips distance apart, but make sure that they're straight, that they're not turned out or in. And we're going to inhale up, exhale down. Keep the spine tall. Inhale up, exhale down. If you can bring your hands up, go ahead. Up and down. Up and down. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. And down. Go ahead and step back with that right foot. You're going to press back through that right heel. Keep the knee right over the ankle. You can hold on to the chair. You can bring one hand up if you like. Actually, leave this hand up if you like. Or you can bring both arms up. The choice is yours. But if you have a stability problem, hold on to the chair. Make sure you keep yourself safe. Lift through the chest. Keep your breath moving. And exhaling, stepping up. And we're going to turn to hold on to the chair with our left hand this time. Coming back into our tree pose that we did on the other side. So again, squeezing everything into that midline. And we're going to bring that right foot to the inside of the ankle. And again, you can bring that right arm up, or you can bring it to heart center. If you want to go deeper, you can bring it up to your calf, same thing. If you want to go even deeper, you can bring that foot up to the inside of the left thigh. You can bring that hand to heart center straight up, or you can bring the palms together, but remember, press them together firmly if you do. And if you have a problem with stability, hold on to that chair. Keep the belly engaged. And exhaling, releasing down. Go ahead and wiggle both knees. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to come back to the other side and we're going to do some more standing poses. So we're going to take our left foot and we're going to step it back. Now we're going to come into warrior two pose. So we've got the toe and the heel of the right foot lined up with the center of the arch of the left foot. You want to make it a pretty good stance here. You're going to hold on to that chair with your right hand. Or you can bring both arms up. But again, if stability is an issue, hold on to the chair. Go ahead and bend that front knee. Now make sure that that knee doesn't go past the ankle. You want to have these nice lines of energy going on. We're going to bring the left arm up in line with our shoulder. Then you're going to take your gaze over toward that right hand. Now, if you feel stable, go ahead and bring that right hand up. But again, find a place where it works for you. This is not my practice. This is your practice. I'm just your tour guide, Julie McCoy. So just go ahead and stretch out, relax those shoulders, and take some nice deep breaths. This is a very expanding pose. It opens you through the chest and the shoulders. It opens through the hips. It's also a very powerful pose. It really engages the belly and the abdominals. And then we're going to bring that right hand down. You're going to hold on to the back of the chair. You're going to straighten that front knee without locking it. Make sure you don't lock your knee. We never want to do that. And then you're going to bring that left hand straight up to the ceiling, coming into a triangle pose. Now, if you're feeling really strong, you can go ahead and bring that hand down onto the seat of the chair and come into it. And keep your breath moving. Don't want to hold that breath. We never want to hold our breath. And then we're going to release that left hand down onto the chair, whether it's the back or the seat, it doesn't matter. You're going to slide that left foot up a little bit, and then we're going to pull back on that right knee without locking again. Remember, we never want to lock the knee. And then as you exhale, you're going to drop your head down. And hopefully you're feeling a little stretch in the back of the legs. You know, our hamstrings, which are on the backs of the legs, are responsible for a lot of our back problems and tension in the back. So when we can release that out, it really is very beneficial to our lower back. However, we do not want to damage one. So don't force or push too hard. If you tear a hamstring or injure a hamstring, first off, it's extremely painful. And secondly, it takes forever for it to heal. So even though they serve a huge purpose, they're actually kind of delicate. So we want to make sure that we're, taking care of them by not going too far into the pose. And then we're going to go ahead and exhale, release. I'm going to come to the other side of the mat so you can see both sides here. And then we're going to go ahead and take a large step back with the right foot. And we're going to have the knee right over the ankle on our left foot. You're going to hold on to the chair with your left hand. You're going to bring that right arm out in line with your shoulder. If this is good for you, stay here. Turn your gaze to look over to the left. So you're getting a stretch in the neck. You're expanding through the chest. If you can bring both arms out, go ahead. But again, monitor where you're at. Make sure you listen to your body. Keep that breath moving. Wiggle that tension out of the shoulders. And just breathe. On your exhale, we're going to lower that left hand down to the chair. You're going to straighten that left knee without locking it, and we're going to send that right hand straight up to the ceiling. If you would like, you can bring your hand down to the seat of the chair. Again, finding where it's going to work for you. And then we're going to exhale. You're going to bring both hands down to your chair. You're going to slide that right foot up a little bit. We're going to pull back on that left knee, and as you exhale, drop your head down. Keep your breath moving. And exhale, release. And let's come back to our chair to sit down. I want you to stretch your right leg out. You're going to have to come a little forward on your chair again. Stretch your right leg out. We're going to bring that right arm up. As you exhale, bring that right arm to the outside of the left knee. Let's take another little twist here. Twists really help to release tension. And they really help to open up the chest. And then we're going to bring that arm up and exhale, release, bringing the right foot back as well. Go ahead and stretch out that left foot. Bring that left arm up, and as you exhale, bring it to the outside of your right knee and turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Just any residual tension that may be built up in the spine, you can just release it here. And then we're going to inhale that arm up, step back with that left foot, bring the left arm down. Nice and tall spine here. You know, one of the things that happens in yoga a lot is it happens in life, is we tend to compare ourselves. You know, we're just so conditioned for that in society that we're constantly, we have to be the best at our job. We have to be the best at this or that or whatever. You know, really, that is just such a fallacy. That is not true. Comparison is the thief of joy. And, you know, as caregivers, you may see yourselves, you know, saying, well, other people seem to be, you know, doing this, and I'm just really struggling, and why can't I do this? And, you know, that really is just another one that's just not true. Sometimes what we do is we see other people's highlight reel and we compare that to our everyday life. And so, you know, when you're seeing other people who are caregivers as well, and maybe they don't seem to be struggling as much as you do, it doesn't mean that they don't struggle. It just means that you don't see them struggle. So never compare your life or your yoga practice or your anything to anybody else, because again, you're perfect where you are. Let's go ahead and slide back a little bit in our chair. We're going to separate our knees. We're going to bring our hands out in line with our knees and take this little squat here. This is really good for us. This is the equivalent of a chair squat. Opening up the groin, opening up the thighs. Again, where they hold a lot of tension. You can stretch your legs out if you like. If that works for you, go ahead. If it feels like it's a little too much, just pull your feet back in and keep the knees bent. If you can, stretch out, flex those toes back toward your head, and then point those toes. I'll move my block out of the way. And then point those toes down. And then flex. And point, flex, and point. Go ahead and bend the knees back, turn your toes out at a 45-degree angle, bring that left hand to the inside of your right thigh, right hand goes to the ceiling, and then we're going to switch. You're going to bring that right hand down to the inside of the right thigh, left hand goes to the ceiling. And then we're going to bring that hand down. We're going to bring both arms up, making a goalpost. You know, do the best you can. Try to get your elbows in line with your shoulders as you can. You know, there's W's and then there's goalposts. So this is our goal, is to make a goalpost here. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the neck lengthening. You can close your eyes and just breathe. You know, how much do your arms weigh? Really depends on how long you got to hold them up. Do the best you can. Take one more breath here. And exhale, release. Bring the knees back to center. Fold your elbows onto your knees and just drop your head down for a moment. Again, keeping that breath going. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, come back up. You're going to start rolling your shoulders. You're going to roll them back 3 or 4 times. And then roll them forward 3 or 4 times. And then we're going to bring our arms out in line with our shoulders. Bring that right arm across. Take a little stretch here. And then stretch your arms out. Bring the left arm across. Do a little stretch here. And release the arms down. You can bring your hands onto your knees. You can bring your thumb and index finger together. That actually creates a relaxation response in the brain to help keep you calm. We're getting ready to go into our final relaxation. Now, one of the things that I want to remind you to do is, if you have an intrusive thought come to mind over the next 5 minutes, don't try to argue with it. Don't try to push it aside. Just acknowledge it and then let it know that you'll be back in a few minutes to address it. But right now, this is about you. Take this few minutes. The world will not fall apart if you take a few minutes for yourself. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to draw your awareness down to your feet and relax your feet. Relax your ankles. We worked the ankles today. Let them relax. Just let them soften. Mindfully, let them relax. Relax your shins and your calves. Relax your kneecaps and the backs of your knees. Relax your thighs and the backs of your thighs. Relax your buttocks and your pelvic floor. Relax your abdomen and your lower back. Relax your chest and your upper back. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax your hands and your fingers. Relax your throat and the back of your neck. Relax your face, your jawline, your mouth. Relax your eyes and the space between your eyes. Relax your forehead and your temples. Relax your scalp and your skull. and relax the crown of your head. Just relax. Just relax. And I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying these sessions as much as I am. I'm really having a good time teaching them. AARP is a wonderful organization to work with, so I'm really thrilled to be here. We have 2 more sessions after this one, and I hope you will join me for the next 2 sessions as well. Until next week, namaste.
So, namaste, Kat, and thank you so much for this. Kat's going to have to be close. Look at the questions and questions. Don't forget to click on the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen so that you can ask questions, and so Kat can respond to those questions. And I will put them in the chat for you. That'll go back and forth for that. And if I don't get a question from you, you know that I'm going to do that.
Thank you, Nancy.
Oh, Kat can see the questions on her own for that. All right, I'd forgotten that she can see that. Well, I have one question that I'm going to ask until you guys get going over there. Well, thank you very much. Here's my question, and it's about
Thank you, Paula.
I knew about the foot stretch thing, but I did not remember it until Kat talked about it. So I was hoping she could talk a little bit more about how the stretch works with your feet and that interlocking thing that you do with the stretch. Reading. Cool.
This is very frustrating that I can't hear what's going on the other side, so.
All right.
But you know, yoga teaches us to flow with it.
All right. So look at the chat. Look at the chat. Hopefully she can read my lips. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm seeing more.
There we go. Yay.
The how many times a week should you do yoga? That question. You know, again, this once a week during the session would be plenty for you to do. If you wanted to do it more than once, it is on replay. That would be great. 2 or 3 times a week, you would really be feeling a difference within probably just a few weeks. But really, when it comes down to it, if you can do it as often as you can, you know, if you can take that time to, you know, breathe throughout the day, take your little breathing breaks that I've talked about in the past. You know, you can sit in your chair, you can do the twists, you can do those anytime. They're always there for you. Yoga is always there for you. But, you know, once a week, if you can do a full practice once a week, that's great. If you could do this full practice a couple of times a week, that's great. And we have 6 episodes now that you can choose from. So you could do this practice today and maybe do another practice that we've done, you know, day after tomorrow, maybe get in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. whatever works for you. I once had a student that said, I can't do it 3 times a week because I can't do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And she just kept saying this, well, I can't do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, come to class today. I can't do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So really, when it comes down to it, doing it once a week is better than not doing it at all. You don't have to do 3 times a week. You can do it. It's here for you when you need it. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Just saw that one. I really appreciate all of you that come week after week. This is wonderful.
I agree. I know
more work to help osteoporosis. I'll do some research on that and help you with it. All of these strengthening poses are good for osteoporosis. Now, sometimes when we have osteoporosis, we may not want to do the twist, but that is between you and your doctor. So if your doctor has told you not to do twists, that really is something you should not do in class. You can just breathe or do something different. But all of the strengthening poses that we do, the standing warrior poses, the balancing poses, the heel lifts, those are all really, really good for osteoporosis. But I'll do a little research this week and see what I can come up with and see if we can get a specific class for that next week. Well, I'm glad Gus joined us today. That's wonderful. My dog likes to do yoga with me too. In fact, he has to go to work with his dad because he'll bark all the way through if I don't do yoga with him. I'm glad that really helped with your feet. That's wonderful, Jana. The feet are so important, and that tends to be forgotten in a lot of exercise modalities, as we just don't really work on the feet. And really, when it comes down to it, our feet are our foundation. If we lose the ability to use our feet, we've lost our ability to get around. And so, taking really good care of your feet is so important. And, so I try to throw those in every once in a while just to remind everybody that, our feet are there too. I also do face yoga, and, we forget about the face too, but our face they have lots of muscles, and there's no difference between doing the muscles of the feet any more than doing the rest of the muscles of the body. And there's no difference between doing the muscles of the face and the rest of the body. So we kind of tend to forget about the top and the bottom of our body as we're doing this. So I try to throw a little bit of that in. See what else we got here. I'm sorry that my speaker isn't working on this side and I have to read every one of them.
Well, thanks for all of you who put wishes for my birthday in there. I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna try again to put my questions in. We'll see how that works. Maybe if Kat doesn't answer it, maybe Sheila. Maybe.
My favorite style of yoga to practice is actually called Hatha yoga, which is what we're doing in here. It's Hatha means sun, moon, Ha meaning sun, Tha meaning moon. It's actually working with the opposition because it's oppositional forces between the sun and the moon. When we extend our arms out in, Warrior Two, we're working in opposition with our own body. It really is a very, very good way to, open up and stretch the body. There's a lot of different ones. I also like Ashtanga, which is a little bit more challenging discipline of yoga. I like that. I like it all, really. But my go-to is Hatha. It's something that I think appeals to most people. There's something in it for everybody. And as far as the yoga for the feet, Just stretching your feet, wiggling your toes, really grounding your feet down into the earth, going outside and just walking around barefoot if you can. I mean, I know some people can't do that for medical reasons, but if you have the ability to do that, it's called earthing. And it is so good for us to just go out and connect with the earth. It will work on a sidewalk too, if you want to walk around on a sidewalk, because the sidewalk is usually made out of earth. Doesn't work on asphalt. So, going out and walking barefoot in the street, I do not recommend it. It's really, really dirty, and you don't want to do that. But walking around in the grass or on your sidewalk can really give you some benefit of, and it's really good for your feet to do that. I also recommend soaking your feet every once in a while, just putting them in some warm or cool water. See Diane clapping. Just, putting your feet in some warm or cool water to just let them relax. I really like that in the summertime. My feet tend to feel really hot in the summertime. I think another reason why I don't like to wear shoes. But, I tend to go to good old Current River right here in Doniphan, Missouri, and put my feet in, and it's very soothing. So if you can connect with like a natural water source to do that, that's even better. So yeah, going out and just spreading those toes that's good yoga.
So I put in a question about equipment.
Okay. Yeah. Basic tools of yoga are these two things right here. And of course your yoga mat, you want a mat that is going to, keep you from sliding around, but a yoga block. And these come in different sizes. This is a 3-inch block, but you can get them, smaller too, that are about that wide. But you can see that they have 3 sides that you can turn this on. So these work really well for bringing your hands down. If your hands can't reach all the way, you can put them on a block. You can bring them between your knees or your hands and, press together. We may do that next week. Also, a book works really well. I'm a little concerned about bringing props so much into the class that we depend on the props for a pose, because not everybody will have them. But if you do have a book a couple of inches thick that's about this size, they work really well. When I first opened my studio, that's what we used. I didn't have any blocks, and I couldn't afford to buy any blocks because, well, I was a new business and on a shoestring. So I just had a lot of large books that we used. And since then, I've been able to get my studio equipped. But another one that you want to have, and a necktie or a belt will work for this, but it's a strap. A strap will help if you can't, reach certain places. You can use that strap to, make up the difference. It also helps with certain stretches. So a strap is good. And there's other things that you can get as well that aren't the basic, but you can get wedges if you have a hard time putting your feet down on the floor. I once had a student who was a banker, and she had spent her entire career in heels. And so when she first started doing yoga, she had a really, really hard time getting her feet flat on the floor. It was painful. And so we used a book at that time because I didn't have any wedges, but we just kept putting that book down, kind of opening it up so it was at an angle. And that way she had that wedge, and we just kept lowering it down every week until she could eventually get her feet flat. So it's really important when you're doing these poses that you listen to your body, because if you have questions, like if you can't get your feet flat on the floor, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you try to find a way that will be comfortable for you and that you will be able to do it. Do we have more questions?
Yes, we do. Sort of. I mean, Jana is talking about how the chiropractor says the toe heel raises work.
It really does. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. And, and I do get, chiropractors do kind of agree with me on this. They, in fact, a lot of chiropractors are actually starting to become yoga teachers because they're finding out that it works so well hand in hand. In fact, my son-in-law just went to the chiropractor, and he was told that he needed to stretch. And why aren't you doing this when your mother-in-law is a yoga teacher? And he really didn't have a good answer. So, but chiropractors do usually recommend yoga, and so do doctors. I'm sure if you talk to your primary care, they would probably be in agreement on this too, that yoga is just really good for you. But I'm glad you're enjoying the sessions.
My sign language is not working so well. That was time and finish.
And your physical therapist. Yeah, I just read that. This is so awkward. Hey, but we're doing it. We're making it happen.
All right. We're going to try and wrap it up now, and I apologize for the awkwardness of this, but Kat's going to give final remarks. Go, Kat.
Final remark. Just be you. Just be you. Be where you are right now in this moment in time and space. We can look ahead and we can be anxious about the future, but the future doesn't exist. So there's no point in being anxious about it. We can be melancholy about the past, but the past doesn't exist either. All we have is right now in this moment. And for me, right now in this moment, it's not too bad. So take those moments that are good and strand them together like a strand of pearls and see how long you can make that strand of pearls.
Nice. Oh, that was really nice. So thanks to Kat for leading us in the session today, which was lovely. And I enjoyed the toe stretch reminder, which is one of my favorites that I had forgotten. And thank all of you for joining us for Relax and Renew Yoga for All. We really want to invite you to come back and join us next week to continue your journey of self-care. You've got 2 more weeks of sessions that you can register for if you haven't done that already. You can go to aarp.org/movingit. And you can also find sessions that you might have missed. You can check those out. It's at aarp.org/movingit. And while you're there, don't forget to register for our Relax and Renew sweepstakes too. So until next week, please be as good to yourself as you are to others. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Goodbye.